Believe, and you're here again in the office of the Always Believe House. This series of lessons, you've been learning about systems of equations, and basically what you have learned is how to do them without graphing. You can either solve them by graphing, or you can either use substitution or elimination. That's basically all the ways you can solve these by graphing, unless you use a matrix, which you'll learn in Algebra 2. Now then, what we're going to do today is do a review activity and summarize all this up. So let's get rocking and rolling, and a magical whiteboard appears, and we are going to start solving these problems. So let's look at number 1. Okay, I'm not going to do a lot of these for you, okay, and I'm going to let you omit some of these, all right, because I'm nice like that. So let's look at number 1. Okay, now then we either got to eliminate the x's or the y's. If you look at the x's, the signs are the same. If you look at the y's, the signs are different, so I would probably eliminate the y's because they have opposite signs. Now then, let's put the x's. The LCM of 8 and 9 would be 72, wouldn't it? The LCM of 7 and 9 would be 63. Notice these numbers are big, aren't they? So I would probably pick the y because they already have opposite signs. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply those 7 and 9 in the y's to get 63. So I'm going to put parentheses, and thankfully I won't need to multiply by a negative, but these numbers are going to get kind of big. So I'm going to multiply the 7 by 9, and I'm going to multiply the 9 by 7. Once I do all this multiplication, my y's will be opposites and they will eliminate. Remember, when you eliminate, you're either trying to make the x's or y's opposites. So I'm going to multiply the top by 9, and I'm going to get negative 72x, and then plus 63y equals 9 times 23 is 180 plus 27, 207. If you can't do that in your brain, you got to use a calculator. Now then I'm going to multiply the 7's. 7 times 9 is negative 63x. 7 times negative 9 is negative 63y equals 7 times 9 is 63. So I just multiplied all those 9's by 7. I got 63, don't I? Now then, the x's or the y's are opposites. Once you get opposites, draw a bar and you're going to add and go straight down. So negative 72 minus 63, I'm going to add and keep the sign. That's going to be negative 145x. Or 135x, thank you. 135x. I'm going to go to the right. If I add up the right, they're both positive, so I'm going to add, I'm going to get 270. And thankfully, 135 goes into 270. I'm going to divide by negative 135, and I didn't leave you a lot of room on these, so x is going to be a negative 2 in it. Now that I'm going to take the top or bottom one, I would take the bottom one because the numbers are smaller, and I'm going to write that bottom one over here. Negative 9x minus 9y equals 9, and I'm going to replace the x with negative 2, aren't I? So negative 9 parentheses negative 2 minus 9y equals 9. I'm going to multiply negative 9 and negative 2. That's going to be positive 18 minus 9y equals 9. Move the 18 across. Minus 18, so negative 9y equals negative 9, divide by negative 9, and I get y equals 1, don't I? So my ordered pair would be negative 2, comma 1, and that's where the two lines intersect. It's about as hard as it gets. Those are pretty big numbers in there, but they work out. I think I gave you, on this worksheet, I think again, they're all integer values for this. I'm not going to give you a decimal value. Okay, sometimes they will be decimal values. Trying to keep this simple with the learning environment we're in. Okay, let's continue on. Let's do number 5. Number 5 has 2 options here. I'm not going to do all these for you. Okay, I don't want to eat all your Oreos. Okay, so let's look at the x's. On the x's, the smallest number 8 and 7 would go into would be 56. The smallest number 10 and 4 would go into would be 40, wouldn't it? Now then, if I eliminate the y's, I'm going to have to multiply by negative. You kind of don't want to multiply by negative because if you miss one sign, it's all wrong. So I'm going to eliminate my x's. So I'm going to multiply the top x by 7 and the bottom x by 8, and I don't have to multiply by a negative. You could eliminate the y's, but you would have to multiply one of them by a negative. And if you miss one sign, it's wrong. So distribute 7 to the top, and I'm going to get 56x minus 28y equals 0. And then go down to the next one. Hopefully you know what this is already, because they both intersect at the same point, okay? Let's go down. Negative 56x minus 80y equals 0. The x's are opposites now. Draw a bar, add straight down, and I'm going to get negative 108y equals 0. If I divide by negative 108, I'm going to get 0, aren't I? Now then, go over here and write down negative 8x minus 4y equals 0, and I'm going to replace that y with 0, and guess what I'm going to get for y? I'm going to get negative 8x equals 0, and then x is also 0, right? If you notice, these two lines both intersect at the origin, don't they? So obviously, 0, 0 is going to be the answer. Piece of cake. If a line has 0 in it, it's going to go through the origin in it. If it has 0 for C, and it's in standard. Okay, let's keep going down. Let's do number 9. We're going to substitute in here. Okay. Now then, the first thing you want to do is I'm going to take this 8x minus 10 and I'm going to plug it in for that y. Okay, so I'm going to give you one of them. If I tell you to substitute, you're going to have a y equal mx plus b. So you're going to take the mx plus b and plug it into the other y. So write down minus 5x minus parentheses, and now I'm going to plug in negative 8x plus 10 equals negative 4. So basically, I replace this y with negative 8x plus 10. Notice I only have x in there now, right? Now I'm going to solve for x. So I'm going to distribute the negative. Negative 5x plus 8x minus 10 equals negative 4. I'm going to group my x's and move that 10 across, right? So I'm going to move the 10 across plus 10, and negative 5x plus 8x is 3x equals negative 4 plus 10 is 6. I'm going to divide by 3, and I would get x equals 2, wouldn't I? Now then, I'm going to take the mx plus b and write it down here because it's easier to work with. When you substitute, always write your mx plus b equation to the right. I'm going to replace that x with 2. And I'm going to get y equals negative 16 plus 10, so y would equal to negative 6. So my ordered pair would be 2, negative 6. So at 2, negative 6, the two lines intersect. That's the point where the lines cross. Ho, 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 ho. Continuing on, these get harder on number 13. Okay, on 13, these are going to get a lot harder because they're not in standard. So you got to rewrite these in standard. Okay, so let's do number 13. I'll probably do 2 of these with you on 13. On number 13, I want to write the first one in standard. So I'm going to put the 9x over here and the 9 over here. So I'm going to get, it doesn't matter if the x is negative, okay? Just x, y equal a number. So negative 9x plus 18y equals negative 9. So the 18y didn't move, did it? I moved the 9x to the left, so it became negative. The 18y stayed in the middle, and the 9 went to the right, and it switched signs. Now then on the next one, all I need to do is move that 7 across, right? So I'm going to get 7x, and then the negative 7y will turn into a plus 7y equals negative 14. Now then I have my x's and y's in the right order, don't I? So the first thing you want to do is get x, y equal the number. I didn't leave you a lot of space, so do this to the right. Okay? Now then we're going to do 2 columns again. So if I want to get rid of the 9 and 7, the smallest number 9 and 7 go into is 63. The smallest number 18 and 7 go into, that is a big number, 36, 54. It's going to be 18 times 7, okay, which is too big, okay? 18 times 7 is 70 plus is 126. Notice, though, that the x's already have opposite signs, right? One's negative, one's positive. So let's get rid of the x's. So what do I multiply 9 by to get 63? I multiply it by 7. What do I multiply 7 by to get 63? I multiply it by 9. I'm going to distribute those and do the math. So on the top one, I'm going to distribute 7. Okay, let me zoom in some more. catch up. 7 times negative 9 is negative 63x. 7 times 18 is plus 126y. 56 plus 70, yep, that's it, equals 7 times negative 9 is negative 63. These numbers, if you got to use a calculator, use a calculator. Mr. Toops has got a good one in his brain. So if you got to use a calculator, use a calculator. If you miss one number, everything below it's wrong. Let's go to the next one. We're going to distribute 9. So 9 times 7 is 63x. Notice the x's are opposites, right? 9 times 7 is plus 63y equals 9 times 14 is 90 plus 36, 126, negative 126. Okay, now then, my y's are my x's are opposites, right? When you get your opposites, draw a bar and add and go down. So 126 and 63 is 189, isn't it? So 189y equals negative 189. It works out, doesn't it? Divide by 189, and you get y equals negative 1. Oh. Now that I'm going to go over here, I still have room, and I'm going to let's write down the top one. So 7x plus 7y equals negative 14. And I'm going to replace this y with negative 1, aren't I? So 7x plus 7 parentheses negative 1 equals negative 14. 7x minus 7 equals negative 14. Move over the 7, add 7. 7x equals negative 7. Divide by 7. This is just tedious work. X equals negative 1. So the ordered pair, parentheses, would be x, comma, y. So at negative 1, comma, negative 1, the two lines would intersect. Okay. Really quickly, I'm going to put 16 in order for you so you can kind of get a gist on this. Or let's do 17 and 18. I'll just put them in order for you. So on 17 and 18, notice the x's and y's are on the same side, but all you have to do is just rotate it, and don't change the signs. So just rotate it. So write down negative 10x plus 4y equals 14. Notice let me write it down correctly. Negative 10x plus 4y equals 14. Notice that this is the same equation, but I just flipped everything. You don't have to change the signs if you turn the whole thing around. Got it? You do not have to change the signs if you rotate the whole thing. You don't have to change the signs if you rotate the whole thing. You want x, y equal the number. Now then on this one, we need to get rid of the fraction, don't we? I put 1 in here like this. So I'm going to multiply everything by 7. I'll get 7x plus 16 equals 9y, right? These 7s will cancel out. Now then, the y needs to go to the left and the 16 go to the right, correct? So I'm going to have 7x minus 9y equals negative 16. Now then, you go through and eliminate that. I would probably eliminate the y's because 36 is going to eliminate the y's, isn't it? And the y's are opposite signs. So I would eliminate the y's on that. Let's go to 18. Notice on 18, the x's and y's are in the right order, but they're on the opposite sides. So flip that whole thing around, and you don't have to, if you rotate the whole thing around, you don't have to change signs. So negative 9x minus 15y equals negative 36. You're just taking it and flipping it around. You don't have to switch the signs if you're doing the whole thing. And then 3x plus 3y equals 12. Now then, I would probably eliminate the x's here because the x's eliminate with a 9. And you only got to multiply the bottom x, don't you? Okay, so that's going to be pretty simple. And then lastly, let's go down to solve by graphing. Change these to y equal. So write down 5x plus 4y equals 16. Solve it for y. Move the 5x across. And then divide by 4, right? So all we get y equal negative 5 over 4x plus 4. I'm going to start off at 4 and go down 5 over 4, aren't I? Let's do the next one. 3x minus 4y equals 16. Move over the 3x. Negative 4y equals negative 3x plus 16. And divide by negative 4, right? And I'm going to get y equals positive 3 over 4x minus 4. So this line would cross at negative 4 and go up 3 over 4, would it? One of those dots is going to coordinate to cross at the same dot, aren't they? So solve the equation for y, okay? Now then, the more power way to do it, notice that these two numbers divide, don't they? C divided by B is my y-intercept, right? So 16 divided by 4 is 4. That's the y-intercept. And my slope is going to be negative 5 over 4, right? Notice I got y equals negative 5 over 4x plus 4, don't I? Ho, 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 ho. Let's do this equation. Negative a over b would be negative 3 over negative 4. That's going to be a positive 3/4. And guess what 16 divided by 4? Negative 16 divided by, or 16 divided by negative 4 would be a negative 4, wouldn't it? So that would turn into y equals 3 over 4x minus 4. That's how you can use standard here. It's the same exact equation I got down there. So graph those lines. They will cross at the same point. Have a blast doing this. Oh, what a great day. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you for doing your work, for participating. You're doing wonderful. Remember, you were amazing. You were created to do wonderful things. Enjoy your 17 seconds as in, and always believe.